Hi Flosstube, this is Becky, the South Texas Stitcher. We're back to the graveyard, graveyard number 2. I finished filming number 1, got it going, and realized I just had a lot more and made the list. If you look down below in the comments, you'll see what the names of these patterns are and if I remembered where I got them from, because some of them are just from magazines, and I made a copy of the magazine. I have the magazine, so I have the originals. I just made a working copy, made a working copy of the pattern, and therefore the magazine is put up, and I hope my working copy has the information on it. I did find, like, if you watch the first one, I did find like where my Santa from Hell came from and stuff like that. So now if you haven't seen that one, you have to go back and find out why there's a Santa from Hell, which would make an interesting cross-stitch pattern if you think about it. Anyway, I had a whole bunch more here, and I wanted to make sure I got it all out and somewhat organized. And it was kind of good because before I went on, I stopped and made a list of everything. So I actually have an idea of what I have now, because before I would look at something and go, I think I started that pattern. And I'd go, I think so. I think it's somewhere in my WIPs. Well, now I know what's in the WIPs. So that has helped somewhat. To continue on. Oh, first of all, if this is your first Flosstube, welcome. This is my graveyard number 2 of WIPs. So I don't have any of my current WIPs in here, and I don't have any haul right now. So this is just things that have been sitting around gathering dust. Some of it from the early 90s. I don't think I have anything from the 80s. Yeah, I don't think I have anything from the 80s right now. I don't think so. But anyway, just wanted to let you know what was going on. People talk about WIPs. A WIP is a work in progress. Mine are more UFOs, which is an unfinished object. And some of these may never be finished. This is one that may never be finished. I forget why, but if I remember correctly, this one had all kinds of quarter stitches and half stitches, and the fabric and the threads match, and it was difficult to see. And I have to admit, I think I started this before I had a magnifying glass. So now that I have a magnifier, I may go back and work on this. This was supposed to have been for my mom, gosh, years ago. Does it have a date? 1996. So this is 24 years old? 96? Wow. So it's the mother teacup, and there is what I had done on it. Once I started getting into this cream and it's showing up well on this camera, but when you look at it in real life, these colors just all kind of blend together after a while, and you're like, I can't tell what I stitched on anymore, and it's difficult. And I think I just said I'm not going to work on this for a while, and I didn't. Oh, that's what okay. So that was the first one, and that was one of the Gold Collection Petites from Dimensions, and it came with all that gold thread. And I think that's one of the reasons why I loved it, was because of the gold thread. And I never even got that far. It was just because that cup with the roses and stuff were just so crazy with the half and quarter stitches. I know they look great. When you're finished, it looks beautiful. But to do them, just, oh my God. Now, this is one of my pieces that I used to keep in my desk when I was working, and I don't work currently. I am looking for a job though. Let's see. This is 3 and 4. I was doing the hands-on design Christmas ornaments from a few years ago. I don't need that. And here is 3 French wrens and 4 calling birds. Excuse me, my nose wants to itch. And there is the 4 calling birds. It looks like I have I have just this little bit up here left to do. I was working on this in lunch hours, and they were perfect sizes for a lunch hour because they're small and you could keep them in your desk and they weren't getting in the way or anything. And then there's the EN part of the S for hens. I think, I hope it's in here. Let me see. This was the coolest pouch. It had all the kind of extra pouches. Yes. I did finish a partridge in a pear tree and 2 turtle doves. What I ought to do is just go ahead and frame these or finish these out for this year to put them on my tree and finish that last little section on the 4 calling birds. That way I can get them done and out of the way. And I have all 12 patterns. In fact, when I was going through my stuff to look for these things to do the graveyard video, I did find the other ones. But this was just a little pouch that I kept in my desk drawer with the floss. And I used the called for cranberry fabric and the called for colors. So everything is what it's supposed to be. I do love them. I just never finished them. Oh, I can't show that one yet because I haven't got to the fabric yet. What is this? Oh, this is all crazy. I should take this one off the frame. One of those deals where, you know, I could use this frame on something else. I haven't stitched on this in a while because if I remember correctly, I mean, yes, you can tell where I picked stuff out. So this had an error in it. I bought this. Technically, I bought it to give to a grandchild, but to be perfectly honest, I love it enough that if I ever finish it, I may just keep it. But it is the alphabet to the American Cowboy. And I was just using the floss that it came with. I was not pulling my own. I did change the fabric because it came with white Aida. And I thought that was kind of boring. So I am putting it on, picture this plus, 36 count shale. And you can see all I had was the cowboy hat in the corner. You can tell right there that I had stitched across, but obviously I did something wrong because you can see where I pulled it out. So I need to go back and see what I did because it looked straight to me. So I may have been one up or one down. So we have to check. And all this stuff, as I think I said in the last video, has got dust and fur on it because some of it has been untouched for so long, and I keep finding hoops. It's been a little like, wow, I didn't know I had this. I found 2 of my smaller hoops, and I know I was working on something not too long ago. I thought, man, if I just had a smaller hoop. So I had them. If you watch the last one, I found the floss from my Indian headdress. I thought the little bag that I had was for the flamingos, and it wasn't. It was the floss for the Indian headdress. Then this, I have to say, where did the fabric go? This is, I think this is Butternut Road. Nope, Told in a Garden. This is Baby in a Basket. I love this baby. And it does come with the pattern so you can change the flowers and ribbons out for either a boy or a girl. It does give you the option for whomever you're giving it to. And I started this from my first granddaughter. And I fully intended to have it done well before now. But it is, the baby's hands and face are over 1. And I think myself and a friend who was an excellent stitcher before she passed away last year, we both tried to put that baby's face and hands in there, and they didn't want to go. So I need to figure out why one day. I think part of the problem was at the time I did not at the time I didn't realize that when you do over one that small, I think I was trying to use two threads, and I think I should have been using one. And I think when she tried, because it was on the needle, I think she tried to use what I had, and I know that baby's face was picked out at least 3 times, maybe more. I just remember it was like, I can't do this baby's face, and I picked up something else and started something else. And Elizabeth is 12 years old now, and so that's how old it is. Oh yes, see, I forgot about this stuff. So every so often, I do in Alessandra Adelaide Needleworks and On, and this was I don't speak Italian, I'm sorry, so this is bad. Riccioli di Natale, so something Christmas. I know Natale is Christmas. I don't know what Riccioli means, sorry. But that's it. And I don't think I used the exact blue, but all the other colors are the called for colors. Goes this way. And it's all her stuff is bigger than you would think. I mean, you look at this picture and it looks like it's like an 8x10 or something like that. Nope. But I love the swirliness of this. It makes me think of Dr. Seuss for some reason. But I love this pattern and I really want to finish it. So maybe this Christmas I'll pull it out, and it may be one of my seasonal ones that I do at Christmas. I want to say I started it when it came out. So that was a while back. 2015. So it's 5 years old. And I do know, as I said, I do know I started it when it came out. And what in the world is going on here? I don't know if you can tell. This ornament here is not stitched. This is an actual little ceramic type ornament, and I have that, but I can honestly say I don't think it's in the bag. I think it is put away in a jewelry box to keep it safe. That way it didn't get crushed, because it looked like it was crushable. I don't think it's in here. This was the little bag I had for my floss. All that white. And the sparklies. And there's beads. And no, the specialty ornament, I do believe it's in my jewelry box to keep it safe. I hope it's in my jewelry box to keep it safe, because otherwise I don't know where it's at. Oh, this is, it's so exciting to do this somewhat, because I'm like, wow, I forgot I had that pattern. And this pattern I was actually talking to someone about the other day. This is Blue Moon Angel. This is a Lavender and Lace. And I don't know if you can see, in her hand, she's holding a little golden metal moon. I actually have that. I bought it, and then like a month or two after I got it, they said they didn't have any more and they weren't making any more. So if you do this, you have to find a different kind of moon. But this one, goodness, this one's got all kinds of dust on it. Let's see. Yes, it goes that way. And this right here is the beginning of the bottom of the moon. I want to say I stopped stitching on this one because I got lost. And I need to go back and sit with the pattern and go line by line, because I think I marked off more than I had stitched, or I had not marked off enough. And I got lost to where I was at. So I need to make sure what I'm working with versus what I have marked off. But I do remember having, while stitching on it, it was one of those deals where I was like, wait, did I stitch that row or do I not? And I was trying to count, and there was something going on and I got distracted and couldn't finish. So then this is another Christmas piece. I actually have finished Christmas pieces, but I also have a lot of Christmas pieces started. Where some people stitch Halloween incessantly, I like Christmas pieces. And this is, get all this out. This is a Vickery Collection pattern. I love Vickery Collection. I was so sad when he passed away. He had such an excellent eye for patterns and stuff. And the picture will never do justice to what you stitch, because he didn't do a photo of it. He did a kind of a graphic rendition of it. So I love the angel inside the sea sending out the sound for Christmas. I love, it looks like a giant centerpiece, a table centerpiece with a nutcracker on the end here. I just love this piece. And I had part of the border done. If I remember correctly, that border was a little crazy. And I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see a little bit. There's shimmering in this pattern. That was part of the other problem is, if I remember correctly, I may have started this at the CrossStitch store when I purchased it. And when I did, I didn't have my light with me and it was making it difficult for me to see. So it was a little hard, and when I came home, I just didn't pick it up because it had given me a headache trying to stitch without a light. So really, the poor pattern is no excuse. There's no excuse for the poor pattern because it was my fault. I should have tried it with a light. And it is on 32 count opalescent white. I guess it's just, I guess this is linen. It's whatever the opalescent colors are on. It's definitely not an Aida. But I love Michael Vickery stuff. And as I said, I'm so sorry to hear that he had passed away, because I feel like in mid-stitch I was cut off from my pattern when I heard he passed away. It's like several of the other designers who have passed away that I just love their patterns, and now they're gone, and I'm like, but the Vermilion Stitchery, there were so many patterns of that one that I wanted, and then she passed away and her family decided not to keep it going. The Vickery Collection, I believe the family is continuing to print the patterns that he created before he died, but that was it. Then this pattern, this is a Butternut Road, which is also part of the Told Regard Lavender Lace series. I don't think I finished, did much. Yeah. This is a bad WIP. This is the Once Upon a Time. I love this pattern. I still want to do this pattern, but if I remember correctly, I don't think I liked the fabric. Do I have what this fabric is? No, I don't. And it's all wadded up. You can tell when I get frustrated with it because I cram it in the bag. It's not folded neatly. It gets all mangled. Really got to stop leaving needles in them. But this was the fabric. And there's the little bit that I had stitched on it. So I very well could find a different piece of fabric and go back to stitching on this again and do this with something else. I may do that because I love the picture. I love the bird coming to land on her hand with the castle in the background. Because see, that's why I picked this originally, this fabric, was because I thought that castle, so I'll show this. I thought that castle would look great on that fabric. But I think this is a 40 count. I think it's either 38 or 40 count because it's very small holes. That may have been why I didn't like. You know what? I used two threads. I need to take it out, start it over again, and I bet you I will like it better with just the one floss. That's what it is. I think I tried to use it too many threads, and it was one of my first. Yes, one of my first 40 counts. I think that's what it was, or 38 6 counts. it was before somebody told me, we'll just use one thread, and I was like, oh, well, okay. Then this is a Mirabilia. A lot of people may remember this one. This is Santa's Magic. Love this. I've seen this done only once. And I was able to get a piece of the called for fabric, which was desert sand from Witchelt. And it's a big piece when you're finished. And I got, that's part of his, the lower portion of his sleeve. So there's, oops, that's this part right here. You can see you don't stitch his sleeve. That's just the fabric. So you're stitching the vines, because that's basically what that is a garland, and you stitch the white of his sleeves and stuff. But this actual sleeve part here, that's just a fabric. That's not stitched. But as I said, I have seen this done once. It was so beautiful. And I had never planned on stitching it. And when I saw theirs, I was like, okay, once you see this, sometimes when you see it, you're like, why was I not wanting to stitch this? This is gorgeous. I have to stitch this. It is going to have some craziness to it because it uses like brown whisper. I hate working with whisper. That may be why I'm not working with it right now. It is Kreinik intensive. It's got whisper. It has beads. It is just all kinds of crazy thread. Then there is some DMC. It's like, too much, too much. And this is from last year. Let me cover this up. This is the Mary and Jesus stained glass. This was in last year's Christmas Just CrossStitch. There it is finished. There it is partially stitched. And this is wooden. This is, I can't think of the name of it. It is Dimension? Yeah, One Dimensions. And you pick these up at Joann Fabrics. I don't think, yeah, Joann Fabrics is where you get this. And when you buy it, it comes in the natural wood and you can paint it the color you want. They had done it in brown stain and then stitched it, but I wanted the whole thing to have the black. So, and it comes with the little hanging wire because you can see the little teeny holes up here, but I don't know what I did with the little hanging wire, so I need to find that. But it's a little difficult to stitch with because you could definitely have to do stick and stab. But you have to make sure you pull the thread straight down because it is wood and you will shred that thread left and right otherwise, and it is a pain. I was enjoying stitching on it, but it makes your arm kind of tired because you're having to make sure you go straight down and then come straight back up and you straight down. So you have to use short threads because otherwise you're dragging it up and down like this, and it's uncomfortable to do that. So I learned real quick not to do the longer threads. Oh, you know, I was looking for this the other day. The things we find, the things we find. This one I may have shown. This one, did I stitch on this? I may have stitched on this as of this year. It may have been part of earlier in the year. In fact, I know it was part of earlier in the year. But I haven't stitched on it in a while. This is my copy of the Templar Prophecy. And here is what it's supposed to look like. And it's a long dog sampler. And I like long dog samplers because they're usually just one color. Now there are people on Facebook who go nuts with the colors, and I look at them and go, oh my God, I could never do that because they put colors where I would never think to put colors. And it's just amazing when I see that. So I'm like, yeah, no, I stick with my monochrome. My husband picked out, I picked out the fabric because I didn't want to do another blue and white, because Death by Cross Stitch here at the house is blue and white. But I had picked out the fabric, and then I pulled golds and told my husband, pick the one he liked. And so this is what he picked. He picked the gold. And I will tell you what that gold is. It is 834, DMC 834. And I was enjoying stitching on this, and I forget, I think I stopped. Yes, I was stitching on this, and I stopped to start working on the cross stitch stocking, the Christmas stockings for my grandchildren. And then Pandemic came out, and when Pandemic came out, Pandemic was like, oh, this must bump everything else. Oh, this is 32 count dark chocolate fabric, and I don't know if it had a person or if it's just a Wilchelt linen or what, but it was dark chocolate, 32 count. I do like Templar Prophecy. Oh, look, another hoop. My husband's going to come home and go, where did all these hoops come from? I'm like, well, they were stashed. This is one of my favorite pieces, and I made a mistake. And it's over 1 on a very small count fabric. And I'm going to have to go back out and fix it. And I like, so get the pattern here. This one actually, I think, is still fully kitted. I don't think I've stolen the floss from this one. Maybe a red or two. Anyway, this is from Blackberry Lane Designs. I love Blackberry Lane Designs. And she's just a wonderful artist. But that's it. And somebody did this as a full-size picture. And it's rather big when you do a full-size picture. But this is just so gorgeous. And this is where I was at. And I don't have this on this frame correctly. I need to take it off the frame and redo it. But there it is. But somehow his staff here is not lining up correctly. And then I got off. Somehow his body is off right there and in here, and I had to take it out, and it was over 1, and it's crazy, and I have to fix it. But that was the 3 wise men, and I have I think I have all of the ones from this series, but this is the only one I started with, and I need to finish it because I love it, and I want it on my tree, and it's just not on my tree yet. Oh, excuse me, I'm having to reach a little bit here. This one I just recently stole the sidebars on for another pattern. This is one of the Rosewood Manors. This is Buckleberry Sampler, and I usually don't hang out with a lot of samplers. This is the first rosewood I picked up. No, well, let me rephrase that. This is not the first rosewood I purchased. This is the first rosewood I started. I saw this done at my L&S. It was hung on the wall for almost a year. It is just gorgeous. And I have gotten kind of a good start on it. I have all the numbers WZ, XY, WZ. No, what is it? WXYZ. My alphabet left my brain. So I've got some of that done. I would have probably been further along, but I made a mistake counting over for these little droopy flowers here and had to pick out like everything that way. And I was sitting at the cross stitch store when I did it, and I was so mad. And one of the ladies said, just work around it. And I showed them what I was working on, and one of the ladies went, oh no, you can't work around that one you have to fix. So I had to rip it all out. It was I was unhappy. Oh, let's see here. I think I can see the top of my table. Yay. I at least know where the floss for Buckleberry Sampler is. I did find a couple of other flosses. To be perfectly honest, I still don't know what that's for. I thought by going through my stuff I would figure out what that was, but obviously not. Then I mentioned this at the end of my last, the last graveyard, and I made this. It's dirty. It's amazing how much crud will get on your stitching if you don't actually pick it up and work with it every so often. I made this a couple of years ago after seeing somebody else's, because they wanted $50, and I went, no. I don't know about you, but no. Like, I can sew. I know what I'm doing sometimes. This is Tapestry by Ink Circles. And this one stresses me out. No, goes that way. That is 1/4 of it done, plus a little bit more. The reason it stresses me out is because you have to make sure you don't get off, because it makes a perfect square, so you can't be off. And when I was doing this corner here, somehow I got off, and this little section here was like over here, and I don't know. I just know that all of a sudden I realized I was off, and I had to pick it all out, and I was not happy. I have worked on it a couple of times since then, but it's not one that I work on a lot. It's not, I don't feel any urgency to get it done. Unlike, you know, some things I'm like, I must finish this. This is not one of the ones that I must finish this. So, but I will. Some of these, now that I've looked at them again, what I may decide to do is like on every Saturday of 2021, because I have enough to do this, because there'll be 52 weeks each year. I'm assuming that means there's at least 52, maybe 53 Saturdays, depending on how Saturdays fall in the month. What I may do next year is every Saturday I must work on one of these WIPs, and that way I can say, yes, I am getting, these things have seen the light of day, they have been touched, and that may help me get through some of these, because otherwise they're just not going to get worked on. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when they get put on the back burner, and if they don't have to be pulled out, they're forgotten. Now I have to admit, on the last one I showed you the World Peace Angel that I'm working on. It's very big. My husband made a huge frame for me for it. I have to lock the cat up. So anytime I want to work on that, anything longer than, say, 10, 15 minutes, I have to lock him up, because he thinks it's a hammock for kitties. And then he and I get into a fight. Yay, I have reached the last one of the graveyard. This one is at least 11 years old, maybe 10. I told my husband I would make him a Christmas stocking. You know, when you tell somebody something, you don't expect them to pick the world's worst Christmas stocking in the world. This is the only Heaven and Earth I have ever started. I don't even know if it's still available. This is Stocking Treasure Dragon. But he's sitting on all his treasure. And my husband saw that, and I don't even know why I let him look at Heaven and Earth. I think I may have been perusing, and I mentioned I would make him a stocking. I thought he would pick something by like Shepherd's Bush, which I could have done by now, but no, he wants a Heaven and Earth. It's like, oh. This is why I hate confetti. When I started this one, I was like, oh my God, that's all I have ever done on it. And while it looks cool, oh my God, nobody ever told, because I know I didn't know anybody who had ever really done a Heaven and Earth. I forget how I found them. And I started them, and since then I found out that there's all kinds of groups, to help you with your heaven and earth and stuff. And then people tell me, well, no, you're supposed to do it at a diagonal and it goes faster. And then I saw people with the parking and I went, oh no, I can't do the parking. All those threads, they would make me just a little crazy. So no parking. I won't do parking. I have to admit though, where I'm at on the pattern is I had gotten all the way to over here. This claw of the dragon is solid black. So I've often thought, if I could at least get to the claw, I could come down here and work on the dragon. If I could get the dragon done or started, I think I would actually start working on it again. I just need to pick it up and start. So that is my goal here in the near future. That one definitely would need a lot of Saturdays. I don't want to pick one and just work on it, because then I'm afraid I would do that and once again something would happen. It would drive me crazy and it would disappear again into the back bedroom where everything goes to hide. I wanted to do just say I worked on this for one day, I'm good, it's done. If something is close to being finished, yes, I would work on it a couple of more days. But I have so many other things that are current works in progress, especially since I want to work on my 5 Christmas stockings, the pandemic. I need to finish Memorial Day by Hands-On Designs, because I love that with the flags hanging on the washing line. What else am I currently going with? Oh, I need to finish my Coming to America Mayflower Women. I need to finish that one. That one, I don't want to make it. I don't want to make it a UFO. That one needs to be done. Even though I have gotten to the names, I hate letters. I saw somebody the other day. They took out all the names and put the top and the bottom together, and I said, "Now that's a thought." But it defeats the purpose of what it's for. So I'm not going to do that. It was like, ooh, I want to do that, and it was like, no, it defeats the purpose. I want to honor those women. I also, if you ever watch Artist Design, Amanda May, she is doing a No New World stitching. And her thought is that there was already needlework in America when the Mayflower got here. And there was, because the Native Americans, whether or not they were using linen and fancy threads, they were using other things and leathers and quills and beads, and their artwork was gorgeous, and because they were already decorating clothes and stuff. My family is from my mother's family is from Mexico, and they're Mayan Indian. And when we went to Cozumel, yes, it was Cozumel, we went to this, or I went to, my husband went snorkeling, I went to this fascinating museum. And it was all these hand embroidered textiles. Now we were there to learn how to make chocolate and stuff, but you had to go through this museum portion first. And while they were all standing there looking bored because they could care less about this, they want to get to the chocolate. I'm freaking out because it is hand embroidery from God knows how long ago. And because it'll say, found in some remote village, blah, blah, and a lot of it was in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. It's gorgeous stuff. And the colors are so vibrant and so beautiful. When I look at a sampler from Europe, most of them, especially the Quakers, they're kind of muted. And then if you look at the ones from Germany, which are the Bavarian, the needleworks, they have a lot of colors, and the French ones have a lot of colors, more so than the British ones do. And if they could get the right colors, they're very bright. I have to admit that. Some of the ones with the bright reds and stuff, those are beautiful. But a lot of them were much more subdued. The ones from Mexico, subdued is not in their lexicon, I don't think. They were fuchsias and yellows and reds, and I don't know where they got the dyes for these colors, because they were fantastic. And no one ever thinks about that in the Americas, the Indians were already doing this, depending on whether you considered him an Indian or just a native or however you wanted to put it. They were already doing beautiful work. And while we don't have anybody who came over on the Mayflower, supposedly we do have somebody who came over on the ship with John Smith, who went to the Pocahontas group, and I don't remember the name of that ship. So we were here, we beat the Mayflower. I think they actually beat the Mayflower by a couple of years. So I mean, I do have antecedents both on the New England coast, on the Central American coastlines. My father's family is all basically from South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama, and then they came from England. So I mean, I have a wide variety of ethnicity in my background. As you can see, I take after my dad's side of the family, very pale person. My sister, who's younger than me, and my youngest brother, they take after my mother's side of the family, and they're much darker. And then my other brother, he's like me. We're both very pale. It was always very strange in school because no one would believe that we were siblings because our skin tones were so vastly different. But what was funny, and you can't see it now because there's too much gray, but my hair though was from my mother's side of the family because it was much darker than my sister, who took after my dad's side of the family. So we were very eclectic looking in our gene pool. So we used to, I got hit one time pretty good. We were discussing all the ethnicities in my background, and my mother's telling me, okay, we have this, and this, and so-and-so was from here, here, and here. And I mean, it is truly a melting pot of nationalities when you go and do our genealogy. And I got smacked really good one time because without thinking about it, I said, man, we weren't racist. We slept with everybody. And my mother hit me because I was like, oh my God, you know. When you think back in history, there are certain groups that did not intermingle. Well, obviously we intermingled a lot, so we're a happy family, so to speak. But anyway, I hope y'all have a good day. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is this very short, well, it's not very short. I thought it was short. I forgot. When I hit 30 minutes on a video, I have to stop it to do anything that's over, because my camera all of a sudden will stop recording, and I don't know how to make it stop doing that. I really wish it wouldn't do that, because then I wouldn't have to stop and pause. So I'm thinking that this one's almost as long as the second one, or first one. This is the second one. I'm sorry, my brain is not functioning. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have many blessings in your life. Have a great day stitching. Go stitch something that you enjoy, and I will talk to you later. Bye.